sound of a gentle ambient church organ which fades slightly into the background. Picture this, it's a quiet evening in San Salvador, March 24th, 1980. The air is warm. Inside a small hospital chapel, a Catholic Mass is underway. The priest, a man with kind eyes and a powerful voice, lifts the chalice, preparing for the most sacred moment of the service. Suddenly, a single gunshot shatters the peace. The priest collapses. The sacred wine spills, staining the altar cloth a deep, shocking red, mingling with his own blood. This wasn't just any priest. This was Archbishop Oscar Romero, the voice of the voiceless in El Salvador. And his story is one of incredible transformation and even greater courage. You see, Romero wasn't always a firebrand. When he was first appointed Archbishop in 1977, many of the poor and oppressed in El Salvador were disappointed. He was seen as a conservative, a quiet scholar, someone who wouldn't rock the boat. The country was in the grips of a brutal military government. Disappearances, torture, and killings of anyone who spoke out against the regime were terrifyingly common. The wealthy elite, the government, and the military expected Romero to stay silent, to stick to spiritual matters and ignore the suffering in the streets. But then something changed him. Just 3 weeks after he became Archbishop, his close friend, a fellow priest named Rutilio Grande, who worked tirelessly for the poor, was assassinated. This brutal act shook Romero to his core. He visited the site of the murder, saw the bodies, and it was like a switch was flipped. The quiet scholar found his voice. He began using his weekly sermons, broadcast on the radio across the nation, to speak truth to power. He became the conscience of El Salvador. He would read out the names of the disappeared, the murdered, and the tortured, ensuring their stories were not forgotten. He openly condemned the government's violence and pleaded with the soldiers, who were often poor men just like the people they were ordered to oppress. He begged them to stop the killing. His voice reached every corner of the country. For the poor, his sermons were a source of hope, a lifeline. For the powerful, he was a dangerous threat. He received death threats constantly. Friends begged him to be more careful, but he refused. He once said, "If they kill me, I will rise again in the Salvadoran people." He knew the risks, but he believed his duty was to stand with his flock no matter the cost. On that fateful day in March, the day before he was shot, he delivered his most famous sermon. Speaking directly to the soldiers, he implored them, "In the name of God, in the name of this suffering people whose cries rise to heaven each day more tumultuous, I beg you, I beseech you, I order you in the name of God, stop the repression." It was a direct challenge, a moral command. The very next day, a sniper's bullet silenced his voice, but did it? The assassination of Romero sparked international outrage and drew the world's attention to the horrors happening in El Salvador. His death, meant to silence dissent, instead ignited a fire. He became a martyr, a symbol of resistance and hope far beyond his country's borders. In 2018, the Catholic Church officially recognized him as a saint. The story of Saint Oscar Romero teaches us something profound, that true courage isn't the absence of fear. It's finding your voice and speaking up for what is right, especially for those who can't speak for themselves even when you're terrified. It shows that one person's voice, rooted in conviction and love, can become a force more powerful than any army. What other unsung heroes should the world know about? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to like and follow for more stories that deserve to be told.